The worst advice I ever received when I first started my YouTube videos, because at the time I was constantly watching content to get ideas and to learn from others, but I'm sharing it in case you want to start a YouTube channel and you hear this same advice. You should put yourself out there and comment to everyone. Just go and look for videos that you're interested in and feel your way around and comment, go in the comment section and leave comments. That was terrible advice. And the reason for it is this. With YouTube, it's actually different than a lot of other social media. Most people leave comments, and I would say probably 7 or 8 times out of 10, they never come back. And they'll make one comment and then leave. So it's not that typical chatty encounter you'll find on other social media platforms. It reminds me of the story about a woman going into an emergency department. Now, this emergency department was in a hospital. Okay, so she goes in this hospital, but in the emergency department, there was a separate wing, still in the same department, but a wing that was for psych evals. And this woman went in the hospital and she was going to be transferred out because she needed some more extensive evaluation on her heart. So they were going to transfer this woman out of the emergency room onto an ambulance. And from there, they were going to take her to a more sophisticated hospital in an inner city. They asked her if she had any relatives to call or if she needed anything for this trip to the other hospital, because it was going to be quite a ways away and she might not have had family or anybody that could have brought her anything at that hospital when she got there. So they were saying, if you have family that needs to know where you're going, or if you need an overnight bag, or if you need some clean clothes, you need to call them now because that ambulance is coming for you. So she reached out to her relative and she said, hey, look, I'm going into the hospital. I need some clothes packed. And would it be possible for you to bring them here before 3:30? Because my ambulance is leaving and they told me around 3:45. I'm in the emergency department. It's really not visiting hours, but they're making an exception so that you can bring me some stuff. And the relative said, yes, I can, but I'm in a district right now where there's a lot of traffic, so I'll be there as soon as I can. And it was around 3 o'clock when this went on. So this person knew they had at least 30 to 45 minutes to get to the hospital. Unbeknownst to them, there was an accident on the highway. There was a backup. School was getting let out. The afternoon shift of a major company was letting out. So the person driving the stuff over to the hospitalized family member was like, oh no, I'm going to be late. That relative tried to reach out and nobody answered the phone. When the relative got to the hospital, they got lost in the parking garage. Now, how many of you have done that? Because I have. I remember getting lost in a parking garage, calling people up, going, how do I get out of here? It's the silliest thing. I can maneuver around New York City on foot, but put me in a parking garage, I'm lost for hours. I don't know where I came. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know which door is where. I don't know left from right. I don't know north from west, and so forth. Parking garages trick me every time. So this person was in the parking garage. She was on the 5th floor, but she saw that she had to be on the ground level and she couldn't figure it out. She couldn't figure out which way to go. There were no other signs. There was a room with an elevator and it was out of service. And she's like, well, how do I get out of here? Other than walking around all 5 floors down, like a spiral and go down to the ground level. But it was dangerous in this parking garage. There were people coming around that corner as fast as they could and peeling out and everything. And so she was like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'll get run over. Eventually, she gets a hold of somebody that says, oh, hey, I was just there visiting another relative. I know exactly how to go. And they tell her, where are you? And she says, I'm right here. And they said, turn around. There's an opening, 20 feet from you. And she found her way to the ground level. Once she got to the ground level, though, she looked at her watch and she realized it's like 3:45. And the ambulance has probably taken my relative and left. Oh my goodness, what do I do? So she books it as fast as she can and she goes through the front entrance. And The front entrance says, "Oh, you're in the wrong entrance." Now, there is a security guard sitting there. And she says, "Well, I don't know how to get to the emergency room. I've never been here before." The security guard says to her, "You take the pink elevator up to the yellow. At the yellow, you turn left and you go to the mint green. Once you're at the mint green, you're going to see a plaque on the wall dedicated to some nurse that worked there 100 years ago. And once you get there, you're going to go down 2 flights. Now, the emergency room has been under construction. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through a doorway, and it's going to be all plastic because they're painting and they're doing everything else. But once you go through the plastic, then you'll end up on the other side of it, and that's the emergency room entrance." And she's like, "Well, is there another way I can go? Can I get there from the outside?" "Oh, no, we got Jersey barriers and everything's blocked off because we don't want anybody going through there because of the construction. The only way in there is what I just told you." She's like, "Is there a piece of paper with this written down? I'm kind of panicking here." Security guard says, "Hey, look, what I'll do is I'll call up there and see if the ambulance left." So he did. He called and he says, "Hey, they said that you need to go right now because they are leaving. Your relative is already loaded on the ambulance." So this person was like, "Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do." They're like, "Go now, just go." They don't give her a pass or anything. They don't put a sticker on her chest with a picture on it like some hospitals do. She's got nothing. All she has is the duffel bags that she brought for the relative. So she's booking it through the corridors, and she finds the first elevator that she said she was supposed to get on. Now, when she got to the next one, she couldn't figure it out because it was very confusing. There were no signs, but a guy moving a barrel of garbage through the hospital, he was there, and she asked him, and he showed her the way. She finally makes it to the hallway with all the plastic, so she knew she was in the right place. She gets through all that. She gets to the reception desk. The reception desk was all glass. It was glass, and it was all partitions, and there was somebody sitting behind the desk, and it was a little hole like a bank teller. So she walked up to that hole, and she said, "Excuse me, I'm in a big hurry. The ambulance is leaving." To get into the emergency room, there was a giant wall of glass, and the receptionist had a button from her desk that she could push so she could let people in. And because it was in with the room with the psychovals, of course, there were precautions that doctors and nurses took, obviously. Okay, and when she said, "I'm in a big hurry, I got to get these duffel bags to my relative, she's on the ambulance," the receptionist panicked and was like, "Oh dear, let me let you right in." And she pushed that button so the wall of glass started to open, and she said, "Run! Make a run for it or you're going to miss her." The woman made a beeline run for that ambulance. She says, "You know what? I'm going to make it." She runs smack into a wall of doctors and nurses that came along and formed a line. Because they're like, "You're not getting through here. Who do you think you are? You can't be running through here." And it was a total defeat. Thankfully, her relative had not even been put on the ambulance yet. She was still in a room. So it got all sorted out. The doctors and nurses were like, "Oh my goodness," because they were about to call security and have this woman escorted out. She did make it to her relative's bedside to give her stuff. So the woman was able to go on the ambulance with stuff to be comfortable once she got to the hospital. And that's exactly how I felt when I was first commenting on other YouTube videos, because it felt like I was running as fast as I could through ambition, and then defeat set in when I realized I'm not on the same playing field. Once I learned that, I realized it's not necessary at all. If you are a new YouTube creator, especially if you're trying to be professional, especially if you're trying to build a channel, it is not necessary to go out and comment on all these different channels. It does nothing for you. You might get 1 or 2 subscribers from it. The real deal here is work on your own channel. Don't worry about making friends or making comments to other channels. You do you. That's the best thing I can tell you about it. You do you, and people will find you naturally and organically. You don't have to go out there and socialize to build your channel. So I just wanted to put that message out there for anybody else who ever heard that advice, because I don't think it's good advice. I really don't think it does anything for you unless you're in a niche where that does something for you. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Take care.